Today. If you look up, you'll see an animal spotting guide, which can help you identify animals you may see out there. Probably won't see everything on those lists, maybe see animals not on the list, but can be a very helpful resource as well. Anyway, this is a photo safari. Feel free to take as many pictures or videos as you'd like, but I won't always be able to stop the truck for the animals. They're likely to stop and pose for pictures, so you want to have your cameras ready. Those out here can and will get bumpy at times, so you are going to want to hold on tight to your personal belongings, but you can't always stop for, we can't stop for most times. Anyway, just like every other attraction, do need to stay seated at all times, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck. Unlike every other attraction, this is a wildlife reserve, so the animals that reside here are wild animals. Do not call out to them, yell, whistle, make any clicking or kissing noises, anything like that. We don't want to disturb them. This is their home. We want to be respectful. Just keep your eyes peeled. The animals can be anywhere at any time, and it isn't always easy to find them. There are some birds up ahead. First, actually, on the right on the hill, you'll see an okapi. The okapi's striped black and white legs look a lot like the zebra, but they're actually the only living relative of the giraffe. They have 7 vertebrae in their neck and a 12-inch long prehensile tongue. Males also have ossicones, which are the little false horns giraffe have. So in a couple different ways, physically similar to giraffe, even though they obviously look very different. Obviously a bit smaller than a giraffe. However, size can kind of be deceiving. We're in a large truck. The animals aren't always close to us. That okapi will stand about 5 feet tall at the shoulders. It's actually pretty big. Wow. And actually, kind of same goes for the bird that's over on our right. Are there two? Yeah, there's a pair of saddle-billed storks. They'll stand about 5 feet tall. They have a wingspan of about 9 feet. And there are 2 of them. They live and mate in pairs for life. The difference between them is pretty minimal. Really, it's their eyes. Males have brown, females have bright yellow. I personally can't really tell if that's a male or female closest to us, but I'm guessing. I don't know. Anyway, one of them's a male, one of them's a female. I don't know. Anyway, up ahead here, there's a tan antelope. Not going to be easy to see. It's a female greater kudu. They live in small herds of up to 10, so there could be a few others nearby. The males will live separately, so they live alone. You can see what they look like at either end of your spotting guide. You look way out in the distance to the left, there's a black rhino. I think I see a second up ahead, but I think might be facing away from us. They're the smaller of the 2 rhino species in Africa, weighing about 3,000 pounds. They're nicknamed the hook-lipped rhino because of their pointed upper lip, which allows them to grab their food easily. It makes them a browser. That's why they live here in the forest. White rhino are grazers. They only eat grass. We'll look at them on the savannah later. Unfortunately, due to things like poaching and habitat loss, black rhinos are critically endangered. There are less than 5,000 in the entire world today. And they have a pretty thick hinds. They have no natural predators, so humans are basically the biggest threat to their survival. On the top of the hill to the right, that tan antelope is another female greater kudu. The kind of chestnut color are the bongos. Pretty hard to see, unfortunately. Ironically, bongos are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest. However, it isn't because of camouflage, it's because of their horns. Hopefully you got a chance to see them. If you didn't, they are also on your spotting guide. The horns come kind of out of the back of their head and go over their neck, and that allows the bongos to run quickly through the brush without getting caught in anything, so they can move unseen. I can see a hippo up ahead in the water, actually, too. Hippos. They stay in the water most of the day because their skin can dry out and they can overheat if they spend too much time in the sun. They are nocturnal, they do sleep during the day, and there is actually one completely submerged. That's entirely possible. They can hold their breath for 8 minutes at a time and have a natural reflex that allows them to surface and submerge without waking. Now, if you can't see the 2 on the right, there's actually quite a few more over here on our left. We call a group of hippos a bloat, B-L-O-A-T, which is pretty fitting. A male can weigh up to about 5,500 pounds. That size doesn't limit their mobility. They prefer to walk on the bottom of the water, but they can swim. And on land, they can actually outrun humans. They are faster than we are, believe it or not. Hippos, of course, are herbivores, but they're actually one of Africa's most dangerous animals. They're territorial and aggressive, and their bite force is comparable to crocodiles, so definitely don't want to find yourself in a hippo pool. Here to our left, we can see a pod of pink-backed pelicans. They're the larger white and gray birds. They get their name because the skin on their back will turn pink during the mating season. We obviously see them in the water. They do have waterproof feathers, or waterproofing on their feathers. and they have webbed feet. Plus, they'll kind of swim around, collect their food in those large bills. That's why we find them living here along the river. And we obviously saw other birds over there, but I'm only going to point out birds that are on your spotting guide, because we're going to see a lot of different birds here. They can fly. Anywho, we're about to cross a bridge. If you look to the left, those are Nile crocodile. You definitely need to stay seated here. They're probably right below us right now. On average, Nile crocodile reach about 16 feet in length and weigh about 500 pounds. Their bite force, again, similar to the hippo, is about 2,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. One bite can crush the bones of their prey. There are a few that are completely submerged. When active, they can be underwater for about 10 minutes at a time. When inactive, about 2 hours. Now, there was obviously that one kind of looking at us with its mouth open. That may seem kind of, I don't know, threatening or intimidating, but that actually is a simple explanation. Crocodiles are ectotherms. They're of course cold-blooded, but they, more specifically, they lack sweat glands. So leaving their mouth open allows them to release heat and regulate their body temperature. So it's actually a lot like how dogs pant. So, you know, especially if you saw the whole basque like that, you might think they're waiting to capture prey or it's a threat displayed, but they are simply just trying to cool down. Anywho, we're going to be leaving the forest here in a moment, heading into the savannah, which you can see our forest, home to a lot of Africa's most famous animals, like the giraffe. We've got that to look forward to, which is nice. There's lots of different things that could live here. Lots of different antelope, predators like lions, cheetahs, elephants, zebras, all kinds of different things. So hopefully we've got some good luck today.
Come in to say hi.
We are starting strong though. We can see a whole tower. That's what you call a group of giraffe, and actually one of the two walking toward us is a baby, or at the very least an adolescent giraffe. And I see more up ahead, so this is great. They pretty much do everything they do standing. They eat, drink, sleep, and give birth standing. The only reason they lay down is to relax or save energy. We do call a group a tower, and they are the tallest animal in the world. They're about 20 feet tall, so it's pretty fitting. A baby giraffe, first of all, 15-month long gestation period. They only give birth to one baby. Stand about 5 or 6 feet tall at birth and are mobile within about an hour. Now, this is great. There's an adult and there's a baby. Actually, that's a female, so I'd assume that's the mother. We see them next to each other. It's about half the height of that female, so probably somewhere around 8 or 9 feet tall, maybe a little more. So, I don't know, strictly speaking, call that a baby, but at the very least, you know, probably about, 6 months old, maybe a little more or less. Still pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to get a better chance to see the giraffe later on, at least hopefully. So let's keep going and see what else we can find. Over to the left, those are African wild dogs. By the way, not on your spotting guide. Wild dogs are nicknamed painted dogs. You see why? They're pretty beautiful, but they're also very dangerous. They'll hunt in packs of typically somewhere around 8 to 10. They can chase their prey for about an hour to the point they collapse from exhaustion. They have good hearing. You can see they have actually very large ears. They also have very good endurance, of course, and they can read each other's body language, and that all helps them reach a success rate of about 80%. That is higher than lions and cheetahs combined. They're really incredible hunters. Really impressive considering their size. They can be prey for larger predators. They will have to compete with larger predators, which can make things hard for them, but very good hunters. Unfortunately, well, like everything, the biggest problem they face, humans, unfortunately, and wild dogs are critically endangered. There's only about 5,000 left in the world, but thankfully do get a chance to see them here. Anyway, coming up on our left-hand side, we see a herd of sable antelope, those dark brown-colored antelope. Kind of the emblem of our reserve. You'll probably see a sign with the sable on it at some point today. We already passed one. Anyway, those curved horns are quite sharp. They're a brave antelope, so they'll kind of stand their ground and fight predators rather than run away from them. So some predators have just kind of learned to avoid the sable. From here, I see 2 other antelope species up ahead. We're obviously going to get close to the giraffe, so I'll be distracted by them in a moment. But the first are the wildebeest, those gray color antelope. And wildebeest are antelope, even though they look a lot different from other species. They migrate up to 1,000 miles per year across the Serengeti grasslands in search of food and water. And they're about 1.5 million, so they're one of the most abundant, populous species on the savanna. Also quite fast. Their top speed's about 50 miles an hour, but even faster are the white and tan antelope, the springbok. They have a top speed of 60 miles an hour and one of the top 10 fastest land animals in the world. If we get a chance to see it, it's really fascinating to springbok do what's called pronking. If we don't get a chance to see it, do some research when you get home, look up springbok pronking. It's fascinating. Anyway, here to the right, there's actually 3 more adolescent giraffe. The one we first saw is still back over there, but then there's one in the forest and the one joining in, and then that one out in the open. The one that's by the tree is quite young. I'd say probably no more than a month or 2 old. So that obviously is a baby. Still nursing and everything. That's really cool. You should get a really good chance to see it here. That is great. So yeah, now you can see all 4 of them together. All 4 little ones. It's great. Oh, this is cool. So you see the baby reaching down to the ground? All it had to do is kind of spread and bend the legs. Not too difficult. That means that grass and water are easily accessible to them. Obviously, they're tall, so things that are higher up are as well. But on top of having a long neck, they have an 18-inch long prehensile tongue they used to grab onto and grab their food, so it gives them extra reach. With both the okapi and the giraffe, their tongues are long enough to reach their eyeballs. So to the right, the wildebeest, springbok, and then up ahead, those 2 tan antelope, those are Patterson's eland, both females. We get a chance to see a male. Both are born kind of tan, both have horns, although the horns look different. Males will stand up to about 6 feet tall at the shoulder, weigh up to 2,000 pounds, so quite a bit larger, typically more gray in color, but the male Patterson's eland is the largest antelope in Africa. They can also potentially jump about 8 feet straight up in the air from a standstill. Sorry for the quick stop, but up there to the right, there actually is a male with those 2 females. Unfortunately, kind of hard to see. We might see them again later, though. We are going to be up there near the top of the hill in maybe about 5 minutes, so hopefully they're still in that area. Instead of taking a right here, we're going to take a left. So. Again, that's both the females, males. Somewhere up there. I don't know. We'll keep going. Okay, well, to the right, unfortunately not easy to see, there is an elephant. A fully grown adult male can weigh up to about 13,000 pounds, a female about 10,000. That makes African elephants the largest land animals in the world. Honestly, I have no idea what we're looking at, aside from the fact that it is an elephant. I guess I would say I know that. Anyway, elephant herds are a matriarchal society, so the females are the leaders. The males will lead the herd when they reach adulthood, which is around the age of 13 or 14. That's the second longest childhood to humans. The males will sometimes live with other males in bachelor herds, but a lot of the time they live alone. And they don't really spend very much time with the females, so the males typically will live pretty solitary lives. You can see him there once more. That is a male, actually. But honestly, I don't know if that's... I don't see any other elephants here. I don't know if that's a male adult or if that's an adolescent male. That's great. Anyway. Nature. So it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that there's a herd nearby. It's entirely possible that he's on his own. I honestly have no idea. So let's hope. Hope it's the first one. Hopefully there is a herd. Honestly, it's always an adventure. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll find out. Well, I do see another elephant out to our left. Several more. Here we go. There's actually 3 right here, a 4th out in the distance. So it does appear as though it could still be a male adult off on his own, but he's also very close to these elephants here, so could also be part of this herd. I don't know. I guess we still don't know for sure. Anywho. This is pretty great. 2 adolescent elephants here, an adult female. Unfortunately, I can't stop, but I know for sure there is that one more up ahead, so we should get at least a good chance to see that elephant there. Elephant herds can be quite large. They can be one extended family, so aunts, cousins, all that. Groups up to 40 strong. So hopefully they're long. Elephants will use their trunks for just about everything they do: eating, drinking, smelling, cooling down, trumpeting, just to name a few. And really the only exception is digging. For that they'll use their tusks. Their tusks are actually incisors, so they're basically really long teeth. can see there's another adolescent elephant to the left. The tusks are pretty short, but it's starting to poke out there. Just for a moment, we're going to look to the right. That is the male Patterson Zealand I was talking about. So again, can stand up to about 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh up to 2,000 pounds. So pretty large ants. Well, the largest. So yeah, very large. Anyway, unfortunately that elephant's kind of walking away from us, but you still see the three back to the left. They spend about 70% of their day eating. They'll consume hundreds of pounds of food a day. They can't really digest their food very well, so they have to eat a lot to get all the nutrients they need. They also drink about 40 gallons of water a day and can hold about 5 gallons of water in their chunks at a time. Wow. There's water to up ahead, so there's a chance to make it up. I'm not seeing any more elephants, but I do see coming up on our left a flamboyance of greater flamingo. The greater flamingo are the largest flamingo species in the world at up to about 5 feet tall. Not the most colorful flamingo. Actually, color comes from their diet. They're born gray. It takes about 2 years. Greater flamingo eat mostly shrimp. The more colorful flamingo in the Caribbean eat more algae. So different diets, different amounts of colors. Kind of how it works out. If you look way out in the distance, that's actually a fully grown adult male elephant. So we've gotten a chance to see an entire herd and see a male. It's pretty cool. But yeah, he is definitely not part of this herd. So anyway, that's cool. We found a crash of white rhino. A crash is what you call a group. The white rhinos, I know we saw 2 black rhinos earlier. The white rhinos are more social. Black rhinos will usually live alone. We have to be a bit careful. Rhinos have poor eyesight. They can only see about 6 to 8 feet forward, so they'll rely a lot on hearing. You see the ears actually of the one that's walking towards those antelope pointing forward. They use that to figure out what's going around them, but they can still charge us to about 35 miles an hour, way up to about 5,000 pounds. Don't want to be in their way if they think you're a threat.
No.
The elephants we see here today, these are southern white rhino. Currently there are about 20,000 in the world, so they're actually the most populous rhino subspecies. Unfortunately, the northern white rhino, there are only 2. Oh, there's a truck behind me. Sorry, Noah. Anyway. So yeah, the northern white rhino, unfortunately, are nearly extinct. So rhino conservation is, of course, incredibly important. Now, the names are kind of misnomers. These rhinos look kind of orange, but we don't know. That's not their natural color. They're naturally gray. They're covered in mud. We think today white rhino came first from a word meaning wide in reference to their jaw, which is kind of a square shape. So we don't know for sure, but that's our guess. To our left, those antelope, those are bontebok. Bontebok are a relative of the wildebeest. There were less than 20 in the wild at one point in the 19th century, so they nearly went extinct. They were saved by a farmer when he built a fence on his property, and there are now several thousand today, so it made quite a comeback. We're approaching the Kopi Rock Formation. Kopi are kind of the favorite home of lions. There we go. There's actually a male. This is honestly kind of lucky. I see him just past the log up there, right behind the bush on the left.
Slipping.
Now, it is a male. Males have manes, females typically don't, so it's pretty easy to tell them apart. A pride usually only contains one male because the males fight for dominance. So the females do most of the hunting. The male will stay home to protect the cubs while they're gone. Lions are a predominantly nocturnal predator. So that's why, I know he is asleep right now. There's a female right behind him, by the way. They're going to be sleeping. They're inactive up to 20 hours a day. So we're kind of lucky
like my
that
cat.
Like my cat.
These lions decided to sleep where we can.
My little lion.
It also, as it gets, thankfully also I think the weather might help us today, but as it gets hotter, they'll find shade under the rocks wherever they can, so it means a lot of the time during the heat of the day they would be gone, or out of view. Anyway, very good nighttime hunters. I say it's similar to ours during the day, but about 6 times better than ours at night. Plus they have large padded paws, which you can kind of see there. Those help them move quietly, so they can kind of sneak up on their prey. Their success rate's about 50%. They're also, I should mention, a lot of predators both hunt and scavenge. That is the case with the lion, so they are actually going to do both.
Oh, she said hi.
And right back to sleep, yeah.
Just like my cat.
Yeah, like this thing.
Pretty cool though. We don't always get that lucky. They were right there for us. That was nice. Coming up on our left, I see a couple warthogs. We would call a group a sounder. They are a relative of domestic pigs. They're also the largest burrowing animal in the world, and you see some of the burrows there below us. They have two sets of tusks. The big curved upper set is used for digging. Their lower set for protection. They'll dig out their burrows, back themselves in. That makes for a very effective defense. They, by the way, can also outrun predators a lot. Their top speed's about 30 miles an hour, so they're relatively fast. But they also very agile. They can get a turn on a dime. There's a scimitar horned oryx, this white and tan color. Their name comes from the curved shape of their horns, like scimitar swords. They are relatively thin and brittle. They can break, and that's where some people believe the unicorn myth came from, although of course that's just a theory. They're a desert antelope. They can go up to 9 months without drinking water. They get water from their food. And their internal body temperature can reach 116 degrees Fahrenheit before they begin to perspire. So they're very well adapted to living in the desert. Unfortunately, they went extinct in the wild because of poaching for their horns. However, thankfully, that's changed. They've been reintroduced, and over time, slowly, their numbers have been increasing. They're actually specifically on a reserve in the country of Chad, several thousand out in the wild. So hopefully that progress can continue. Kind of like the Bonspot, could become another conservation success story. It's pretty cool, actually. Now, unfortunately, as we pass this gate here, we are leaving the reserve and coming to the end of our safari together. We'll have to drop you off pretty soon. If you want to see more animals, check out our 2 walking trails. Gorilla Falls is here in Africa. The Maharaja Jungle Trek is over in 8. Those trails are open until 7. Weather permitting, they close for heavy rain and lightning, so keep an eye on the weather. They're walking trails, they're completely accessible. If you have a wheelchair or stroller, only take about 15-20 minutes. If you're looking for tigers, they live in Asia, so check out the Maharaja Jungle Trek, you might find them there. Gorilla Falls, well, there's lots of different things. You might see the okapi and hippos again, you might see meerkats, grevy zebras, all kinds of different stuff. But right now, the biggest attraction there, a 2-day or 3-day-old baby gorilla. Absolutely adorable. Obviously, there's no guarantees. I can't promise you'll see it. However, if you get a chance to, it's adorable. I should also suggest, if you're on the social medias or on the interwebs, look up the Disney Animal Science and Environmentality, whatever page, and you can see pictures of it online easily. However, I think seeing it in person would be really cool. So make sure you do check out Gorilla Falls. Its entrance is just up the hill from the dock and over to the right. You can't really miss it. If you plan on collecting Wilderness Explorer badges here today, first of all, the name of my truck is Simba 1. Simba is Swahili for lion. You'll find the safari and African culture badges back up in the village. Look for a white umbrella near our standby entrance.